This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about fishing. Recorded show. Hope everybody is having a safe pre-Thanksgiving travel day. I'm headed back to Illinois to see the parents and then hopefully do the turkey thing on Thursday and then be back before 7 to 8 inches of snow hits Illinois. Got a busy December coming up, scheduled to head up to Minnesota the first week of December to the St. Paul Ice Show. So that'll be very interesting. Get a little rub shoulders with guys who can catch some crappie up there through the ice there. So looking forward to doing that. There's also the St. Jude and Crappie Chronicles benefit there at the Minnesota Wild. There's like a hockey pub right there on December 6th. Tickets are $100 for those if you want to get that. All the Crappie Chronicle guys, a lot of like Ice Tube YouTubers, all be up there. You can do that at crappiechronicles.com and then headed to Bacharach in Mexico the second week of December. Reality Win, Rod Win, had him on the show last time he came on. He's currently down there right now and said had a decent morning this morning. Caught one just shy of 10 and a 7.5 and is now enjoying an afternoon siesta. I think he did like 29 pounds on his best 5 yesterday and was disappointed. So got a good show today. We've had a number of these elite qualifiers on, and you kind of get to know the guys, Tristan McCormick, Austin Cranford, guys who just kind of feeling their way through the Elite Series. Today, a guy who knows the Elite Series, knows the BPT, knows the Opens, knows the Pro Circuit. He's pretty much fished everywhere, done everything. And I don't know what the over-under was after his first year of the Opens of ever making it back, but he did it, and he did it his way. Russ Lane joins BTL. What's up, Russ?
What's up, buddy?
Did you ever think you would actually like make it back, or was there any time in your 3 years toiling through the Opens back to the Elite Series where you were like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, I knew that I could, but I knew that everything was going to have to go right. That first year, which was last year, some people know, a lot of people don't. My wife and I, we bought a farm, and kind of in the transition, bought a farm, piece of land, and I was doing tons and tons of work. We was building a house on it. We started the Russ Lane Foundation. Like, we were just spread just way too thin. And it wasn't fair to some of my companies, but I really just checked out, and I didn't mean to. It wasn't a conscious thing. It was just some things that I had to focus on, and my fishing suffered greatly. But I told my wife, like, when last year was over with, like we were starting to wind up projects and stuff, I said, hey, like, I feel really good about next year, like, and I'm going to focus really hard. And I really believe that I can do it and have a great year. And it worked out.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, I've kind of been in this situation before fishing the Opens, man. You finish the middle of the pack in like the first couple, and then it's such an uphill climb, and you're like, what the heck just happened? I'm 4 days into the season, and I've already got like a 2% chance of achieving my goal. Like, you're literally just like one bad decision away from being another year and a half away. So it had to feel good to get off to a really good start this year down at Clark's Hill. I mean, that was a Scoper's Delight event, really cold. You had a lot of inclement weather elements, a shortened tournament on that. But to get out of that one in that, I think that was what Division 1 had to just completely flip things around, going through, knowing that you had 2 divisions to do and you're already ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it did. And I'm a guy that needs momentum. And once I get some early momentum, I really feed off of it. I've always been that way. I was even that way when I was playing ball. Start the season off, some good things happen, and then like all of a sudden you're you're standing a little taller. Like your attitude is great, and your confidence is up there, and it just snowballs. So it was good to get started there, and I caught them all scoping in like 60 feet of water at Clarksville. So,
Really?
and yeah, I did. Yeah. So like, that was good to give me confidence. Like, hey, I can compete with these younger guys that are so good at this, and it gave me confidence to continue to use it when I needed to throughout the year.
Yeah, just following you on social media and talking with you a little bit, you seem to be one of those guys. You've never been like like you've always been somewhat intrigued by it. I see you like doing stuff with it. Like you're probably one of the, I guess, older guys who's really naturally incorporated into your game plan, which then actually I thought it was pretty cool to watch how you ended up qualifying at Okeechobee there in the last event by literally being like flip scope on the way. Like I thought that was like a very fitting way for you to kind of close the chapter in the opens.
It was, man. I reflected on that and thought about that exactly like what you're saying. Like it was really cool situation to like point my trolling motor here and flip mats like it's one of my favorite things to do ever for years, and then scan here, keeping the boat on the same line, and I could see wolf packs every once in a while. Wound up catching them both ways, just going down this 1 mile stretch.
Iconic there. I really like that Bass gave 9 bottles of champagne and 1 bottle of grape juice to the 10 that made it there. Kind of walk me through that feeling. It was interesting. You're watching a bunch of 20 something guys, it seemed like, do it, and then you were there, but like, dude, you were clearly the most energetic, the first to pop the bottle, and the guy who sprayed the most people at it. That had to be, you've done a lot in your career. That had to be one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah, it was. That was a fun moment. I'll tell you what I really got out of that moment was watching those guys and watching their faces and their reactions, and just kind of reminded me, back, years ago, just that excitement of, is this my life? Like, is this what I'm meant to do? And they were, man, those guys, it was a party. Like things have totally changed since, my day. Everybody's family was there, the whole family. Like there's just tons of people there with these guys. And it was like watching an NFL draft party, they were so fired up, and I'm happy for them. And I really didn't think any of them realized what the champagne was for, but I had already thought about it. I was like, none of them's going to get me, and I'm going to get every daggone one of them.
Does Fisher, Aaron, Austin, Sam, Matt, Caleb, Tristan, Pake, or Brock have any idea what they're in for now? You've been there and you've done that. Like, do they have any idea what the next at least 2 years of their lives are about to be like?
Well, like I told them 2 things, like when we were all backstage, I said the business side of things is always evolving, and you got to find your niche and your role, and stick with it, and just, and be genuine, and I think a lot of them already kind of understand that. And then I told them that as far as on the water, it's like any other sport. The only difference is it's all really the same. It's just the speed of the game is a whole lot quicker. And, that, like, I know that from going from different levels, playing baseball and stuff. And it's the same way in fishing. Like once you get to the big show, like they adapt and adjust a whole lot quicker than they do in the opens. Just, it's obvious. I see it. And those guys will, they'll adapt to it and get quicker and quicker. And some of them are already, probably already ready for it.
Yeah, you're back on the Elite Series, and you're one of the few guys who's one of the how you say it, founding members, original OG Elite Series guys. 2006, Del Rio,
Yep.
Texas, Lake Amistad. You top 30 that very first one back in 2006.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that very first Elite Series 19 years ago now?
Yeah, man, that was some exciting times. The year before was my rookie year, and and like I did well. I missed the classic. That was the year that they changed the classic from the summer to February. So you were fishing for 2 classics that year. I believe I was either the first or maybe second guy out, and we had like 150 or 60 boats in. So I had a solid year for my rookie year, but I was ready like when the Elite started, and I wasn't scared of the $55,000 entry fees because the payouts were, man, they were awesome. Like, people don't understand how much money we fished for back then. So I never fished afraid that year. And man, the hype at that Amistad tournament, it was incredible. Like I thought we were all about to be rock stars after that tournament.
Sponsorship wise, you're on the Elite Series. Like I said, it's your second year there. You made it. Like, was there a lot of off season moving and shaking when you knew, hey, you're about to be a part of this? You're on the top 100 here. Here we come. Like, was your cell phone, you probably had a landline back then in 2006. Was your landline ringing with people saying, hey, I'm XYZ company and I want to offer you this to put my name for you to work with us? Were people just throwing money at those Elite Series guys, you included, back in 2006?
So it was kind of slow, but steady. And when you did get the attention of someone, and I got a lot of attention in 2006. When you did get the attention of a company, like, the offers were really good. There was probably a period in there where I probably had three times the total, package sponsor money than I do now. Like, it was different, it was really different. Things weren't as watered down. The industry wasn't as watered down as far as, like, every company, got a bait that competes with 5 other companies, and there's so much competition, and margins are spread thin these days, and it's it's just a different time, and that even shows in the leagues. They're only able to put up so much prize money. You can't just pull it out of thin air. We would love for it to go back to the way it used to be, but maybe the way it used to be just wasn't sustainable. I don't know, but I do think it's a lot tougher business now than it was back in the early days of the Elite Series.
So then fast forward to last week.
Yeah.
The first week after you made the Elite Series in 2006 versus the first week you re-qualify for the Elite Series in 2026, literally 20 years different. Different response from sponsors, paying things. Now, I want to dive into this as deep as you want to dive into this, Russ. But just kind of compare 20 years apart, what happened this past week as opposed to 20 years ago.
So here's the thing, when we were at MLF and things didn't seem to be going that great, you heard a lot of talk about man, like, bass is growing, rebuilding and growing again by leaps and bounds, and they adjusted, and I think they're doing a great job. And there was supposed to be more money if you went back. I took some cuts, man. I took a lot of cuts while I was at MLF, and especially after the first year on the Opens. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. after, what happened the first year on the Opens last year. But now I'm in a situation where I signed up for the NPFLs because, of timing. One, because I want to fish them. I'm excited about those things. You don't hear nothing but good stuff about things that are going on over there.
Yeah. So you're in $50K on the NPFL between travel and
Right.
$30K entry fees.
Right. And then now, not knowing if I would qualify for the elites or not, I qualified. And, now I'm like, don't get this wrong. Like, I guess we're going down this. I just want to be honest with people.
Yeah.
Don't get this wrong. I am 1,000% excited about fishing both tours. Definitely excited about bass. Can't wait to fish another Bassmasters Classic if I'm fortunate enough to qualify for one. But the reality of it is I'm taking on another 40 grand in expenses next year. And part of my success this year was I was able to have a mindset where I wasn't fishing for checks, and I was able to go out and fish to win the way that I thought if I was going to win the tournament, it was going to be me doing this, this, and this. And I implemented those plans and stuck with them. And it wound up being probably one of the most consistent, best years I've ever had. And I just want to continue that mindset. And I don't want to worry about fishing for checks, trying to recoup expense money. Mm-hmm. And, but you got to train yourself to overlook that, I guess. We've all had to do that over the years.
So the way I understand the elites, it's basically $1,000 a tournament. So their payout is less, but it's basically what, $10,000 for the entire year. So then what did it used to be? You would be like, hey, congratulations on making the elites. You owe us $8,500 in 3 days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like it's a great deal. Like no doubt, it is a great deal. And I looked at the payouts they sent, and I was like pretty pumped about it. Like mm-hmm. it looks good. But you still have those living expenses.
Yeah, I say $2,500 in for 8 events is $20,000 plus the 10, which is 30. Plus, you've cut a corner short at a gas station and that type of stuff. Bang a fender up. You have to redo all that. So you're just expenses to fish next year between those two about $80,000 to $90,000.
Yeah, like on the conservative side.
Yeah. And that's 8, 6, 14, hopefully 16 events. So between the regular season, the classic, and the NPFL championship. Right.
And it's going to be a good year. I'm going to have a lot of opportunities to win money and make noise and do good. And, like planning all that logistics and stuff, like I'm going to have to make sure I'm well organized going into it because it's a long schedule. Mm-hmm. But I 100% think it's going to be fun and rewarding. And fun is really important to me. I've talked a lot about that this year. That's really the number one goal, for the rest of my career, as long as it should last, is to enjoy what I'm doing. And, I think we're going to do that.
Who are you rolling with since Michael Neal came up short, which was a big shocker.
I know it. Gosh, man, I know it. He's going to do it when he's he's ready to. He's going to do it. He's one of the top 5 fishermen there is.
I can't argue with that.
No. Man, I don't know. I look down the list and I don't really know a lot of the guys.
Is that bizarre?
Yeah, it is. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Because a lot of them don't know me either. But I guess I'm just gonna just rent me a house at Gunnersville and go and start meeting guys and stuff, and maybe I'll hit it off with a few of them and start splitting some houses, try to split some expenses. The good thing is I'm going to stay at home for the Lake Martin tournament, the second one. That's about a 45-minute drive from my house. So
that's a quarter of the events that you're basically staying at home.
Yeah.
With Gunnersville too.
Well, I won't be able to stay home for Gunnersville.
It's not like across the world.
Oh yeah. It ain't a long drive. And the NPFL, we have one on Lake.
Yep.
and I'll be able to stay home for that. And like Andy Morgan and Randall Tharp, they'll stay with me too. That's going to be a really fun week.
You, Andy Morgan, and
Randall
Randall
Tharp.
Tharp.
Yeah, because we're going to room together on the MPFLs.
That'd be a strong house.
We're
That'll
gonna
be a
have
real strong house. I'm curious. You had the 2 years of the Opens. How does an Open tournament compare to an Elite Series tournament to a MLF Bass Pro Tour tournament? So like I fish the Opens, I've never fished the Elite Series, I've never fished the Bass Pro Tour. You hear people go, oh well, the Opens with all the boats and the locals and the practice and all that, it's the toughest tournaments you can fish. Then you look at the BPT guys, you're like, God, that's the strongest field I've ever seen. Then you go to the Elite Series and you're like, man, no one misses in the Elite Series. So you fished all three of them. Just from the ability to succeed, achieve, I guess, kind of rank on how that fits. Obviously the Opens is third fiddle to those two. I mean, there's no question on that, but just from a ability to top 10 cash, succeed in the Opens compared to the two big shows.
So the Opens now aren't like the Opens, 20 years ago. Like 20 years ago, it was like fishing a BFL Red Man or something where there was about 20 guys that you had to beat. And that's the way I thought the Opens were back then. But now they're all good, man. There's very, very few that I don't think have the ability to, to put it all together and move up the ladder. I would say, like you come back to the weigh-in at a Bassmaster event and you're always, or I'm always like, my God, they caught them today. Like it's never, well, they didn't bite today. Man, they freaking catch them every day. And of course they did at MLF as well. Well, this year on the Opens, I didn't see any difference. Like the weights were shocking at quite a few of the events. Like, the only one that wasn't shocking to me, it was a little shocking at what wasn't caught was the last one at Okeechobee. But
cold front, low water.
Yeah, right. It was nasty conditions. So, but man, these kids are so much better at 20, 22, 23 than we were. And I was really good at 22 or 23. I won a lot of tournaments back then around Alabama. That was probably the best I ever fished was back then. And I couldn't say that I was even in the league of the kids that age these days.
All right, rank. I got 4 categories here, and I want you to rank in order of 1 through 4 the biggest reason why there's more younger anglers who are competitive at higher levels this year. I have collegiate fishing, live scope, YouTube, or live coverage of Elite Series and BPT events.
Yeah, it's like I can't rank it. It's just all the above.
You got to rank it. You got to rank it, Russ. Like, which one do you think is the most important out of those 4 that has led to such an influx of young talent? You have college fishing, you have live scope, you have YouTube videos, and you have live coverage of professional events.
Well, first, because this foundation was laid while they were younger, is the live coverage. So they can go back and see all of the things that my generation and the generation before me did. It's all, it's right there for you to look up and you can watch it. I mean, we all use it. I still use it. Man, like the collegiate fishing thing is, to me, it is kind of a product of the travel ball thing that's going on with sports. So from what I see at the Opens, you have a lot of parents that are traveling with these guys, and it's like a continuation of the parents traveling to these baseball tournaments throughout their childhood. Therefore, the baseball players have gotten tremendously better. You can see it in the big leagues. There's more guys that throw 100 miles an hour than Like I can't. It's hard for me to fathom how there's that many guys that can throw 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But it's because of that. Well, you have that where the parents are taking them to these high school tournaments, and they get better and better and better, and they're feeding into them, supporting them. They're doing everything they can to allow them to succeed. And then they go on to the collegiate level, and they just get better because they're surrounded by a bunch of kids that have been through the same process, and they all work together and feed off of each other. Then they share their YouTube videos, and then they share their notes on scoping. And like one of them says, man, nah, that's what a catfish looks like. This is what a drum looks like, blah, blah, blah. Like it's the whole thing.
Okay. So you're going live coverage 1, you're going collegiate fishing number 2, and we're talking about the reasons for the influx of anglers who are able to come in and compete at the higher level more so now than ever before, which leaves YouTube and scope for 3 and 4.
Scope and then YouTube. Yeah. But if there was no scope, I think it would still be the same way because of the travel ball comparison, because I think that's the way it is now. Like if there was no scope, there would just be no scope. They're still gonna fish. There might be a smaller, like a little bit smaller amount of young fishermen, but I'd
still be more freak show still.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no doubt.
Dude, I think if you were to poll the average fan of bass fishing, I think 95% would put scope 1.
Yeah, for sure they would, because the problem is so many people these days, they want to blame their non-success on something else instead of taking responsibility, for it. It's on them. Like we all have the capability of going out and learning new things and stuff, and I don't want to learn new things. Like I want to just do what I do. But if I want to fish for a living, I got to learn new things. Yeah.
So the last couple years, you fished a BPT in 2023, Opens 2024, Opens 2025, make the Elite Series in 2026. Was there less chasing the things on the wall behind you and more hooking up the boat and going to the water than in the past 15 years combined?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like this was like everybody that gets on a roll and gets momentum, starts performing good. They always feel that, that mindset of keeping it simple. But it was just like one was like noticing opportunities. Like me and you've had this conversation before. I don't even know if you remember, but like it's kind of like a chess match on the water these days because everybody knows how to catch them. Most guys from the opens on up can back their boat in the water on a Wednesday with nobody on the water and drive straight to them. Like everybody can do that. It's what happens those 3 days of practicing over the course of the tournament that, where you have to really make your decision. You have to pattern the field at some point, especially those big 200 boat fields. You just have to. Like to me, like if I had a deer that kept coming to a green field, I kept getting pictures of him for a week, but then let's say I send 10 guys out there banging on drums every afternoon for 3 or 4 days. How am I going to kill that deer? He's not coming to that green field, but I got to go figure out how to kill him, on Saturday. Like, and you just got to figure that out.
How old are you, if you don't mind?
I turned 53 several weeks back.
All right. This question could get you in trouble. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. But, it wasn't that long ago that, the average age of an Elite Series guy was 41 years old and the prime was like 37 to 46 years old.
Yeah.
Not naming names, but what percent of 40 plus year olds that have made a living in this industry, fishing tournaments, have become complacent and got caught in their complacency. You spend a
Yeah.
lot of time. I mean, they could be buddies. They could be guys you fish against. Are we seeing complacency catching up with guys who for so long knew what their job description was, how to get the job done, and got into a routine?
Yeah.
And then when that got kind of thrown out, they didn't put the work in. Am I off base on that?
No, I don't know what the percentage is, but it definitely is a thing. Like, and I know for a fact it's a thing because I went through it. Like there's always been a curve, like a curve in fishing. Like way back a long time ago, you would see Kevin, like Kevin he'd win a tournament on a jerkbait earlier in the year, and he would ride that jerkbait for 3 or 4 more events. And like I would call that the curve. Like it was really that simple then. Well, now the curves, the curve is so much faster. Everything evolves so much quicker now. So like if somebody figures out, just some crazy technique, like, and wins a tournament next week, you can probably just rule that out the next week. So because everybody's gonna force it, because you know what I mean? So
no.
So when you get older and you have these things that you built a career on, and you're used to these curves being a certain speed. I know I'm getting deep, but this is where my brain's at right now. You don't want to change, because that's that whole mindset that you built your career on is where your confidence is at. But if you get complacent and you let time start passing you by, like, you're going to look up and you've been 2 or 3 years and you haven't, like, you're in trouble. Because I did it before we all left to go to MLF. Like, I thought I was done, and it wasn't that I was done. It was because, I'll just be honest with you, it was because I was still trying to catch them on a deep diving crankbait, because I used to catch them everywhere I went throwing a big crankbait, and it just quit working. Like, but I wasn't going to stop. I was going to be stubborn, so I didn't adapt. So, yeah, guys get complacent bad. And
it seems like it's even scarier now with social media, with the YouTube, with the collegiate anglers who were all networked together. Like, I remember a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I figured out, quote unquote, results haven't really showed that, the big minnow. And I remember being like, oh, this is a deal. And I said it to a guy, and he's like, well, like, he won a tournament 2 years ago on that and just said it was something else. And you're like, wait, what? And then they're like, well, like, that's how he's just top 10 his last 4 tournaments. Like, that's how this guy has freaking done everything. And you're like, wait, what? You're like, how is this? Wait, I think I'm on the cutting edge of this, like, new stuff right here, and I'm getting it. And like, it's already like on its way out before I even know that it's like coming in.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you something else that kind of goes along with that. I've kind of made a rule, and I probably shouldn't tell this. I'm going to, because
BTL, no one listens to it, Russ.
Yeah, that's right. So if garbage. I hear something, like if another competitor tells me something, like, I have no reason to believe, like, say if Michael Neal or Randall Tharp tells me something, like, they're not lying to me. They're telling me the truth, like 100%. But my rule now is, if I didn't see it, it has no value. I can't, because I can't go try to force something that they experience. Like, so it's like my instincts are not going to be able to, to adapt to something that I see. Like we could help each other, but I think that if I just go on what I see and what's in front of me, I think that I'm more capable of making better decisions when everything turns into the grinding part of the event, when things start to slow down and you really got to pick something apart. I think I can make better decisions just by going on what I see.
You kind of talk about that, the grinding, picking apart. like you gotta like the way that the 26 schedule for the Elite Series is shaping up for you. I mean, kicking things off on Gunnersville with no scope. We've already talked about it. Seems like it doesn't really matter to you to be there, but I mean, there's a couple of events there that it seems like maybe a little old wisdom, 20 years under your belt. Russ Lane coming in, new attitude could really shake some things up next year. Just looking at that schedule.
Yeah. Like, I think I thought about this the other day, like back early on in my career when I was real consistent, I was, a cash checks constantly. I used to one of his name's Mike Bouster. He was, he owned several companies and run several companies that we work for and still do. I used to send him the schedule because he asked me to do it one time. So I would send him the schedule at the end of the year. I mean, at the beginning of the year, and I'd say, this tournament's going to get one on this. This one's going to get one on this. And I was just about always right. And I was thinking really, really good then. But I would send him that so that he could make like projections and stuff on, business models and building baits and stuff for the year. And I thought about that because I looked at the MPFL and the Bass Elite schedules like in depth a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, this one's gonna get one like this. I'm like, oh, I remember that mindset. And if I say Gunnersville's gonna get one on this, that's what I'm gonna go do. Like, and it may work out, it may not, but that's what I'm gonna go do.
That's so this is the mind screw in fishing. There's so many ways. I used the phrase let the cat out of the bag in yesterday's show, and now I'll use a different phrase. There's so many different ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Because I could literally interview someone with $1 million of earnings and wins, who's fished at every level, just like you, and they could say, I don't look at the schedule because I don't want to go in without any preconceived notion, and I don't want to know how the tournament's going to be won, because that's going to skew me when I go into it, and I go in with a completely open mind, and the last thing I want to do is close my mind to it. And then you interview you and someone like that. Like, I think that is why it's such a hard beast to tame at the top level of tournament fishing. Is like, it can work your way, it can work John Cox way, it can work a Drew Gill way. It could work any of the ways. With I pre-practice, I don't pre-practice, I know how it's going to be won, I must step up, I don't even want to think about how it's going to be won, so my mind isn't closed. There is no like right or wrong way. It's so situational in this game.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. Like when you see that an event is lined up like at the right week of the right month for a certain deal, like, just go with it. And if something drastic happens, that means you have extreme conditions. And with extreme conditions, like, it's always like, you do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you get an epic flood and the lake blows up, you don't trap no more. You flip bushes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, dude, I am looking at the schedule, though. Gunnersville, Tom Bigby, Arkansas out of Muskogee, Lake Murray, Santee Cooper, the Pascatank, Champlain with no scope. Like, there is some freaking meat sticks involved in this schedule.
Yeah, it's a good schedule. Yeah.
I mean, there's some cranking and winding. There's one.
Yep. It's going to be fun. A fun schedule. Yep. I'm looking forward to, I don't even know how you say it. Say it again.
Pascatank.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
The Arbor Merle Sound and the Pascatank River.
Yes. Gosh, because I watched some of the footage, what them guys were catching over there last year. Golly, that place looks fun.
It does. Now, I mean, you got to experience some of that. Like, you were with MLF when they started. Were you with MLF when they started going? Yeah, when they went to all the Carolina stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that had to be cool to have that group of guys up there on those fisheries that just had mega donks and no one really knew how or where to unlock them. Yeah.
I top 10 in that one, I guess. Yeah. Wheeler won, which was one of my very few top 10s over there. But yeah, those were
Falls Lake.
Yeah, that's the one that because we fished Jordan and then Falls, then Jordan and then Falls. But
Yeah.
Falls, I really had dialed.
You really can't narrow it down when you say the one Wheeler one, Russ.
Yeah, exactly. I meant the one.
It narrows it down to 11 fisheries.
Yeah, that's right. The one he won there that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good. There were some giants caught in those events.
So I want to kind of circle back and we'll kind of wrap things up the way we kind of started things. So you basically have what, 2 months before things kick off on Gunnersville?
Yeah.
Any major changes, additions? I know you've got, Yamaha, Phoenix, BW, bunch of great companies that have been with you for a long time. Like,
yeah.
Has it been difficult? I would imagine, I just know as a podcast, as a show guy, like I start working on my contracts with those companies in May, June, July, August. You kind of start in July there around that ICAST time frame, September. I mean, dude, you're like mid-November.
I know.
Is it kind of like a survive through this year and then work on it for next year? Or were some of them like, hey, we saved 6 figures for Big Daddy in case he really popped one at the end of the year here?
Right. Hold on, that choked me up. I mean, I just got to make the best of everything and appreciate what everybody's doing. Like the companies that have invested in me over the years, like Yamaha, man, I've been with Yamaha. That's the only engine company I've ever been with. I've probably, maybe other than Faircloth, I've probably been with them longer than anybody has ever been with an engine company.
Wow.
Since 2000. That's a long time.
Holy cow. You've been with Yamaha for 25. That's a quarter century, Russ.
Yep. I know it. Like I get chills because like they're awesome. They just,
What's the fastest boat in 25 years, 25 Yamaha rigs? What's the fastest boat you've ever had? Is there one year that sticks out where you're like, something was wrong with this one? It was just way too fast.
Well, some people might say it was one of those Bass Cats, like that was with Bass Cat early on. But when I went to Phoenix and our first hull was the 721 Pro XP, that boat would scream with that Yamaha. I used to blow everybody's doors off.
What was that, 2017, 16?
Oh, no, it was
12?
11 maybe.
Oh, God, I was way off.
Yeah, so I've been with them, since 11. Yes, 11.
Did those first ones have the circular, like the Lazy Susan in the middle of the... Was that the first one that had like the Lazy Susan tackle supply where you'd like open it up and you could rotate your 3600s? And then they also had they had the bubble lettering on the side, which is fantastic if you're fishing like TVA stuff. Not fantastic if you're in Oklahoma and you rub it up against a stump. So everyone would have these brand new first run Phoenixes and it would say like Enix on the side.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, that boat.
Okay.
And they still sell a version of that boat. And to me, it is the absolute best value of any boat you can buy right now. You can buy, it's called the 721, I believe it's the ZXL, I think is what it's called. And it comes like with a graph, engine. No, it comes with 2 graphs, engine, power poles. And you can buy that thing for like 80-ish or under 80. Like there, I couldn't sell my this year's boat for that. That's a great boat. That's a fun boat to drive too. It's fast.
How fast was that first one you said, that 11 model?
78-ish, 77.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I'll tell you the best conditions to drive a bass boat anywhere in the world. When you have a tournament in January on Lake Toho, go down the lock and go down that canal. You're at sea level and it's going to be like 60 degrees and there's no humidity then. And that Yamaha can breathe so good. Every single boat I've ever had where I've started off a tournament in January on Toho, the fastest it ever runs is down that canal, that first one. Like
I kind of like downriver, no wind, Thousand Islands.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yes.
The best one I've ever had was I got the cat. This was back when I had zero ledge fishing game and decided to go catch spotted bass in Mississippi instead of and leave the 30-pound bags in you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I think that's the top bit. It's like 37 miles with like one slight turn.
Yes.
And I was the first in there, and it was glad. I have never felt cooler in my life than running that. Is it Pickwick to whatever base Pickwick to Bay Springs?
Yeah.
That is a badass run at
yes.
first light by yourself, glass calm. First one in there. I mean, well, I was the only one in there out of 200 boats, which should have told me so. I did catch a sack out of there of spots, but I mean that is the utmost feeling of just absolutely strung out wide open.
Yeah, just let it eat, and there's a little current flowing, and just go straight.
You said your pond. I think last time you were on, you mentioned it, and then. Is it like done? Do you have like fish in there? Can you go down and catch a fish out of it?
Yeah. So they're growing like the brim are already, some of them are already like as big as my palm. And, that's only after them being in there for like 4 months. American Sport Fish was kind enough to bring me some F1s and put in there and they're growing quick. Like they're probably 9 or 10 inches right now. So the pond's doing good. Yeah, I was actually working on it some this morning. I'm trying to reshape the top of the dam just so that we can mow it and stuff, and just take better care of it, make it look a lot better.
And was there any reason for this other than you wanted a pond?
It's my testing tank.
Okay, it just seems to be like I follow the Slab Lab down there in Alabama, and she just like completely redid that after they had the big fish kill. I got a couple other buddies with ponds, and I like look at it and I'm like, God, that just seems like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but Matt, when you get my age, you get a lot of enjoyment off of sitting on that tractor and running that weed eater and stuff. Like it's pretty fun.
What do you have in there? Like what's kind of structure? I mean, there's got to be some unique structure where you were like, you know what? I want to put this here, and then in 5 years throw a 10-inch worm on it.
Yes. So I built 3 like clay gravel road beds in there, and I have a lot of like broken up concrete piles on those road beds, and then there's a lot of willow trees that I left in there instead of digging them up, or getting them out of there. So it has a ton of cover. It's gonna, in about 3 or 4 years, it's gonna be a crazy good pond.
Can you transplant cypress into ponds?
I'm sure you could. Yeah.
I don't know if those things take like 350 years to get like that, but that would be sick to have like one bank of cypress that you could flip.
Oh, it would.
Bang a balsa off of them, Kevin Short style.
I have some cypress trees on the bottom side of my dam, but I didn't have anywhere above the dam. I wish I would have.
Just don't cut them and sink them.
No, I don't
get in trouble for that there, Russ.
That's right. But those willows are going to be fun to flip. Yeah.
Do you know if Randall, I know you said you're rooming with him, and do you know if he's fishing the opens again? I know it was like a heartbreaker of him to miss it by like a point this year, which I don't think anyone would have wanted anything to do with him in the EQs.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, he would have started
that would have been nasty, especially the way that shaped out.
Yes, there's no doubt. No, I think that he's really excited, just like I am, focusing on MPFL. So
nice. Yeah, there's some money to be made there. Are they guaranteeing 100K? I mentioned in yesterday's show, 130 that are guaranteed in right now, and 48 are current or former Elite Series or BPT pros. 48 out of the 130. 3 classic champs and Hank Cherry, Luke Clausen, Rick Klun. You got MLF or FLW champions and Hackney Suggs, Randall Tharp, John Cox. It's a strong. Yes, Andy Morgan.
Yes. Yeah, it's you can look at the list and like, ooh, that's a strong field. And there's there's guys on there that I don't know, just like there is, on, the other two tours.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I hear, it's impressive what they catch. So it's going to be fun. Just, a little bit of a more simplified, you know, format and everything, probably a little more laid back. And, I don't know. I get good vibes from Brad Fuller. And, I had texted you and told you the interview you did with him was awesome. Like, I've talked to him a time or two and just seems like a really good guy with a good solid plan for growth. And, they've obviously been doing it. So I want to be a part of it too.
Top 5 flippers in 2026. Everyone wants to talk about who's good with the scope. Give me your top 5 flippers. Like hardcore 25-pound tests. Nastiest stuff. Like, it's going to go down and they put either a beaver or jig in their hand and go to town.
Andy Morgan.
Is this in order?
I don't want to do it in order, but we
do order on BTL. We had to order the 5 reasons for that. We'll get you in trouble here. I like it.
So Andy Morgan, number 1.
Okay.
So the next 2, I can't put one over the other, man.
Okay, we'll give you a tie on these next 2.
All right, Hackney and Randall Tharp.
Okay.
All right. Oh my gosh, is there anybody else that flips other than me? I can't put myself in the top 5.
Why not?
But is there anybody else? Let me be 5th. I'm gonna put myself 5th. I tell you, I know who number 4 is. Cliff Crochet.
Yeah, he's fishing the MPFL this year.
Oh, you limited it to a.
No. That's fine. I just said top 5.
Yeah.
I just was noting that he was fishing
Cliff
the MPFL
Crochet.
this year. I think Ish might fit in there too somewhere.
I didn't know he was fishing.
He's fishing the opens.
Can Ish and Cliff share number 4?
You know what? Yeah, I'll give you a pass on that.
All right. Cliff is probably the most dedicated flipper I know.
If Denny Brower comes out of retirement,
I wish
could he still compete in a flip tournament?
Yeah.
Like if Denny Brower was an active competitor, would he still be in the top 5?
I mean, Biffle had a big tournament last year at the MPFL, almost won. So I know Denny could too.
Dude, I didn't say this. So Biffle makes so much more sense to me now. Like, always been cool with me. Dude, you go crappie fishing with Tommy Biffle, you're like, where has this guy been the last 30 years? Cracking jokes, having a good time. But so I pinched a nerve in my neck 3 days ago. And I had never pinched a nerve in my neck. I'm old enough to where I woke up and I went like this and I went, oh, that is just that. It dropped me to my knees. Like one of those burning poker, like red hot things to where I almost went to the ER because I thought like that I'm done. This will never be better. I'll never be able to turn my head again. But I found myself I found myself kind of monitoring the pain by doing this. And then like when Court would be like, hey, I would be like, what? Because like it would twinge every time I'd hurt. And then I'd want to look at her when she talked. But then I found myself getting annoyed when she would talk to me because I would have to keep turning my neck.
And it made you ornery.
And it made me ornery. And I realized, my God,
you're Biffle.
I'm Tommy Biffle. And it makes total sense because if I'm shooting photos or someone's trying to get on my water and I've got a little crick in my neck like that, and I've got to look up, like, that would piss me off every single time. So really, he's just a nice guy with a pinched nerve.
Would it make you want to cut somebody?
Oh, I was ready to cut someone after 3 hours. Like, I had to watch the whole OU versus Missouri game on the couch, like with a pillow over like that. And then my celebration was this. And then I'd be like, oh, like I couldn't get up and yell. I couldn't throw things. I couldn't trash talk anybody from Missouri. Like, I mean, it was bad.
Yeah. So Tommy Biffle-esque.
Yes, but I'm just saying, if I know that he's always said he has like some back and neck issues, like that totally makes sense. Like I'm Team Biffle. Like, don't talk to Tommy when he's fishing. He wants to look straight ahead.
How tough is he to compete all them years with a bad neck and a tough back and set the hook like he does? Like that guy's a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's absolutely insane. What are the odds that OU plays Alabama in Norman in the first round?
Man, highly possible.
What are the odds that OU can beat Alabama 3 times in 13 months?
Well, man, my Tide, man, it's rough. It's rough over here in Alabama right now. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I said before we should have hired Lane Kiffin. Nothing against DeBoer, but Kiffin's my guy, and it's gonna hurt. Like, you know what, when he signs with. Hey, if we had Kiffin, y'all wouldn't have won those games.
We did lose to Kiffin and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are the odds that you guys lose to Auburn at the end of the year?
Man, like always, it don't matter. It don't matter what the season's been like. That's a 50-50 game. Anybody can win that one.
I have enjoyed OU's move to the SEC way more than I realized that I would, because like talking crap to the one person in Kansas or Ames, like it just like great. I love the Big 12. Those are great places, but like you play a Tennessee and there's like 6 guys that you could talk crap to. Then you play a Auburn and you got, Steve Kennedy on there, and you play in Alabama and you could talk crap to anybody. I was like, I messaged you. I was like, enjoy today. Tomorrow's going to suck for you. And then you didn't answer. And I was like, oh, I hope I didn't piss Russ off, because it did suck. Oh, see, there's the crick in the neck right there, because it did suck. But I really enjoy that. Like, I've already, like, Cliff texted me. He's like, oh, here we go. For Saturday, OU LSU, they could spoil it. So I love that SEC. I love that OU's in the SEC, and we can actually win a game this year. So,
well, it's tough being an Alabama fan right now.
No, it's not.
We're not used to being.
You think OU is?
Yeah, y'all lose way more than we've lost in
for like the last 2 years or 3 years. We were 10-3 2 years ago. Before that, we won 4 out of the last 5 Big 12 championships, went to the playoff, or 1 play away from Georgia to go into the finals.
Nah.
We realize our last 6 starting quarterbacks are starting in the NFL.
So are ours.
Right now.
So are ours.
Out of control. All right, Russ. I appreciate the time.
The quarterback we have this year. I mean, gosh, he's insane good.
I also wasn't a big fan that you had a former Alabama quarterback calling that game. He was clearly biased.
Yeah. Well, we're used to people, everybody in the world pulling against us. So I guess it was good for a change. Maybe, I don't know.
The Alabama fans were not as angry as the Auburn fans. I did not realize this, that the Auburn fans get exceptionally angry.
They're all.
But like, you're like, okay, good. It's the next Saturday. Like, we won't have to hear about that anymore. It was like a month and a half later, and they were still posted every day about how they got screwed at OU.
Man, they're just like these old guys whining about scoping. Like, they always want to blame it on somebody else.
You said that, not me. I encourage I have an OU graduate, an OU diehard fan, but I encourage all fans of all colleges to listen to BTL. Send your complaints to Russ Lane. What are your social medias there, Russ, for people to follow you and say Auburn fans to send you?
Hell, I need the engagement. Send them my way.
All right. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you very much.
Same here. Always fun, dude.
All right, congratulations. That was cool to watch, cool to see, and
appreciate
it. You had a lot of guys, old and young, from all over and every division and every league form, pulling for you on that one.
Crazy, and I felt it, and I appreciate it from everybody, anybody listening that was pulling. Man, thank you so much.
There you go, Russ Lane.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Then we come back. We're going to wrap things up. It'll be the last show of the week. We're going to take, obviously, Thursday off for Thanksgiving, and then Friday off. Then we'll be back Monday. It is BTL on a Wednesday. Be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring, that's a giant, dude. Summer, oh my gosh. Hi, look at that thing. Winter. It's so cold. And fall. Got a big one. That's awesome.
Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option.
AFCO. Any fish, any water.
All right, welcome back. BTL on a Wednesday. Hope everybody has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, I was talking about, you look at the points there, and I remember where we were at Rayburn at the beginning of this year, and we were at a little diner, and Russ and Randall walked in, and you're just like, dude, like these guys have been there, done that. Some of the most talented anglers in the world. So that will be a house. Like if there is ever a time to hire a camera guy and let him just record everything, Andy Morgan, Russ Lane, and Randall Tharp in an NPFL house, I would watch that. All right. A lot of Cyber Monday, Black Friday deals going on. We had Chase Hull from Omnia on yesterday. We had Dave Rush from Best on Tour on before that. Links are in all the bios for all that stuff. A lot of great companies that support BTL with a lot of great deals here for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Also, if you have not had a chance to watch it yet, even if you're just mildly interested, I encourage you to watch it. CTL, Crappie Talk Live, Passion Project, episode 2B dropped last night. It's the podcast. It's the in-depth. It's the hour-long version that kind of breaks down the video that dropped last Tuesday night. Link will be in that bio. So if you see that show, the CTL show from last night with Zeke, the link in that description is the video that kind of goes hand in hand with it. I'm trying kind of a little bit of a different thing, teaching these bass guys how to catch giant crappie. It's something that I've really been obsessed with for the last 4 or 5 winters. And this one was an absolute banger. We caught 30, 40 crappie over a pound and a half, so 13, 14, 14 and a half inch crappie, catch and release on all of them. But if you're looking for something to do over the Thanksgiving holiday, give CTL a shot. Always good to talk to Russ. Looking forward to seeing how he does on both the Bassmaster Elite Series and the MPFL. This has been another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. We'll talk to everybody next Monday. See ya.